It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Twisted Minds Bowstrings,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Antler Action,
and Family Traditions Tree Stand.
And don't forget you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal. Everybody, host Mike Adams sitting in the cabin tonight with Dan DeFaw after a long trip to the UP. You are back.
I am back, and you know what? I want to go back.
You do?
Yeah, I'll go back to the UP.
All is well up there?
It is now.
Yeah.
Tell you what.
What'd you do?
Like we talked about last week, had to fix the plumbing. That was our number one top priority.
Okay, and you got that done?
And got it done. Took us about 5 hours total from plan to taking out old, putting in new.
Got it all done.
And got it all done. So I am quite ecstatic. That has been...
the water's flowing?
Yes.
As it should be?
And hopefully it won't freeze like it shouldn't.
Okay, all right. Well,
so
that's
I'm
a good
quite
plan.
happy about that. Getting that new piping was critical.
Good deal.
But it's kind of weird because, truthfully, it hadn't happened in the whole time that we've owned the cabin. Mm-hmm. And, we never had to worry about it because we always got up there November 15th. Never got that cold up there. And
things change.
One time it gets cold.
Right.
We're about 12 hours late, maybe a day late. We had a cold snap come through just a day before we got there.
Hopefully you won't have to worry about it now.
Yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan.
Well, as we get started here, for those of you on the podcast, you probably can't see, but last week I got a new tool here, Danny. I got this new jawbone extractor, and, I want to try it out on the show. What do you think?
No, you are not trying that out on me.
I was going to age you.
Yeah, you can age me. I'll tell you
I was
what
going
my
to pull.
age is.
I was going to pull your jawbone out and age you because you just had a birthday. But I was going to see if I could guess.
Okay. You know what? I was looking at this thing. Hold on, give me that thing. Like we're looking at this thing,
right?
And I've seen this with the DNR, and I never realized it was so heavy.
Right? Yeah.
I could swear theirs wasn't as heavy, but I really never paid attention. But
right,
man, this thing can do some damage.
You could kill a deer with that thing.
Right? Exactly. And it's kind of cool getting this out. I hope to see you using this a lot more this fall.
Yeah. I'm pumped up, man.
Jawbone extractor.
Taking hunting to the next level, so to speak. Deer management. True deer management.
And you are because you've got the book.
Yeah, we do. I talked about that a little bit last week. You kind of got a chance to thumb through it a little bit.
Yeah, I was kind of looking through it. And it's kind of cool. It'll be nice to see. I think one page. Well, okay, so so it's not one season per page, but
no,
okay,
it just kind of rolls through. I don't know how many pages are in it, but just
it's
one
cool.
line per deer, so one at a time.
There you go, and then 10 years down the road, you'll be able to look back and
say back when.
Yep, way back when. But this thing right here, it can be a weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you don't want me to age you, huh?
No.
Danny did have a birthday this week, folks. He joined the secret club.
Yeah.
Special club.
Half-century club.
That's right. Now you're closer to 100 than you are your birth.
I am. Lucas Brown is watching. Hey, Lucas Browning. What's happening? I don't feel any different, though.
You don't?
No.
It'll happen.
Thanks.
It'll happen.
Well.
Today, or not today, this week, I had the one bad knee. Well, now the other knee kind of went crazy on me Friday night. So, yeah, I'm gimping around pretty good right now on the other leg, so...
Yeah, absolutely. It's what happens.
Welcome to old age. You don't have to age me. I'm just old. But.
Right. Dan Anderson's joining in. Hey Dan.
What's going on?
Read an article from Patrick Durkin looking at some numbers.
Yeah, thanks to Ron Moses, who he shared his dinner with us, and we shared with you as we started the podcast here. Actually, before we started recording the show, he sent us a picture and we threw it up on the live stream.
Exactly. So that was kind of cool.
But you read the article real quick, and I kind of panned through it. Some interesting numbers.
It's that CWD thing. It's interesting numbers.
That didn't take long, did it?
No. Interesting that their numbers they're seeing change a little bit with the addition of crossbows and the amount of bucks taken as opposed to antlerless.
along with crossbows and archery together.
Well, now because they've come up with they call it the new age of hunting, because what they're doing since 4 years ago.
I don't like that term.
New age hunting?
Yeah.
Well, they had to put a line in the sand, I guess.
So why didn't they call it just like pre-2014? And post-2014. I mean, I don't know. Or since 2014. Why do we have to give things a name? These eras.
It's like Mike Adams. Give it a name. It's forever etched. Mike Adams.
Yeah, right.
So, but anyways.
This new age.
Yeah, the new age hunting, looking at the numbers now compared to what they used to be, and seeing that bow hunters are taking more bucks, and then antlerless, and then you kind of slide in crossbow hunting now. Mm-hmm. But they're still not taking as many as rifle season.
Right.
Rifle season for them.
They said they took about a third of the bucks taken were taken with archery equipment.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but
what got me is the way it was presented was the fact that the numbers flip-flopped, that they're now taking way more bucks than does with art in there's a lot of them being taken during archery season. I'd have to go back and really glean through the article to get the total adjusted, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong from what you read, that there's kind of a predisposition to it saying that, the new age hunter, this new age of hunting, whatever you want to call it, the last 3 years, so that's 3 seasons, 2014, 15, 16, 17, 4 seasons, they have quit taking as many antlerless, and they're taking more bucks, and they're taking a lot more now with archery equipment.
Right.
Okay.
And they're also taking, I'm trying to find the article now, because...
Is that got to...
Well, then remember what they said in here.
What are they equating it to, I guess is what I'm asking.
Okay. Welcome to the new era of deer hunting. Starting September 15th in Wisconsin, the state's 114-day archery deer season. The 5th in our new age of deer hunting, as proclaimed by the former Department of Natural Resource Secretary, Kathy Stepp. So the former Resource Secretary proclaimed it as the new age of hunting.
Okay.
Also marks the 5th year that hunters can use crossbows.
Okay, what was the defining mark of 2014, from 2013 to 14?
Okay, so after 2014, they call it the Scott Walker's Deer Trustee Review Process. Mm-hmm. And it's led by Texas biologist James Kroll. Mm-hmm. The 2018 season also marks the 5th year crossbows can be used. And it's still, they fret over... about neighbor. It's like whoever frets about the neighbor who attends the wrong church. So they still got the, when you bring up crossbows, they still have a healthy conversation about that. Mm-hmm. So what they're saying is this is the 4th season that the new age deer harvest data is in the books. Mm-hmm. At least one thing is clear. Bow hunters are now arrowing more bucks and fewer antlerless deer, does and fawns, exactly opposite their hunting during the final 4 years, 2010 to 2013, of old age deer hunting.
Okay, so what changed?
So, like you said, the crossbow hunters have now been able to hunt for that as well.
Okay, so we got crossbow hunters involved now as well.
So before attributing that roughly 7,000 deer flip-flop to crossbows, let's review some numbers. Crossbows for 4 years averaged $21,000, 15 antlerless, or a 59 to 41 split. Meanwhile, archers were 28 and 21 respectively, or was 28 and 21 antlerless, or a 57 to 42 split.
Right.
So
roughly the same.
It's percentage points difference, right?
Right.
A half a percentage point difference. So he's even calling it out. The difference between the two groups is so minor.
Right.
So
but what I'm getting at, I guess, is why the mindset changed. Okay, before they were killing more does and fewer bucks, and something there flipped. What's caused this to turn, and why is the emphasis been put back on bucks versus true deer management?
That's a really good question, because
that's what I'm getting at.
Exactly.
There's no explanation.
And last year, 2017, crossbow hunters registered more deer than vertical bow hunters for the first time.
Okay.
So even there, they showed more bucks in the crossbows to the vertical bows.
Okay. step back just a little bit. 2011, is that not when they got rid of the Earn-a-Buck?
Yes.
2011 season or the end of the 2011?
Right, Governor's eager signature eliminate Earn-a-Buck restrictions in 2011.
Okay. So since that time, all of a sudden the tides have started to turn. They mandated, okay, in order to shoot a buck, you had to kill a doe first.
Yep.
Okay. So that forced that state to kill more does, or at least kill does first to get that buck tag. Okay.
Yep. That was
to help keep that herd in check. They lifted that restriction. Okay. They lifted that restriction, and then there was no incentive there. There's no incentive to keep going after the does. There was nothing educating them. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not telling them to or enforcing them to. I don't know how they do it over in Wisconsin, but there was no incentive there.
Yeah, you don't have to. So just go
shoot your buck. And they've got a $1 tag. I believe it's a $1 tag over there.
And like he says here, they're just more than happy to shoot their $1 and be done with it.
I'd like to know what their buck harvest numbers are for 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5-year-old bucks. I want to see if that mindset let younger bucks go, or if people just wanted to get their buck and get it put in the freezer.
So what he also said, he says it's difficult, however, to explain why bow hunters switched so dramatically in the past 4 years. Granted, antlerless hunting was banned in many northern counties in the past 4 years, but antlerless tags were infinite in southern counties, and still the kill dropped. Again, we talked about this, that I don't know how the makeup of Wisconsin is about the northern and southern. Mm-hmm. Like northern,
first off, yeah.
Like northern here, there's a lot more state land than there is southern land.
Right.
So if you were to do that here in Michigan, I bet you'd get the same thing, because if there's a lot more private land down south.
You think, okay, so you think in northern Michigan, since there's more public land, the public land hunters would be more inclined to shoot their buck and be done, and then shoot their doe. That's
what I kind of equating it to.
Okay.
Kind of what he says here. He also says another possibility is with the CWD rising across southwestern counties, perhaps growing numbers of bow hunters simply won't bother arrowing a doe. They appear content on airing one deer annually and increasingly hold out for bucks. And why not?
I wonder, thinking back about that, guys and gals who hunt public land, there's more. I would think there'd be more pressure there. With more pressure, they're more likely to shoot the first buck they see. Absolutely. Versus waiting for an older buck. Well, if I don't shoot it, somebody else is going to shoot it. That whole mindset. Public land where you have bigger tracts of land, kind of where we hunt. There's different. It's what they call club land. Well, you've got maybe a better chance of seeing an older buck because there's a little more land management involved. People are starting to turn over into land management. And when you say northern lower here in Michigan, it can become vast. Mm-hmm. Where here, our pockets of state land are small at best. Yep. And for a lot of people, that's as far as they go. Right, because they don't have their own place to hunt. Right, and it's the closest possible, mm-hmm. and they want to get out for whatever, like I talked about before. So everybody shows up at that one area. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, you're sitting there and you see a buck. Well, you're going to probably want to shoot it because 100 yards to your right, left, or straight out in front of you. But what puzzles me, take a step back. We started this whole conversation with archery, right? Yep. And I'm going to go out on a limb here just a little bit. And I think most guys and gals who are into archery hunting, per se, that take it up and have taken it up for a period of time, maybe not a new hunter, but a period of time, are more engaged with the outdoors in their surroundings. They're looking for a different experience. They're looking for maybe that up close and personal contact with the game. Right. Versus, the 50 to 100, 150, 200 yard shot with a rifle. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, we talk to guys who bow hunt and gals who bow hunt, and there seems to be that different dynamic. People that are typically during rifle season, and I don't mean to offend anybody. Don't send your email to, but it doesn't have that personal up close connection. You know what I'm saying? Oh, absolutely. A lot of guys, they've got a 14, 15 day window here in Michigan November 15th, November 30th. That's your window to get out and hunt. And most people here in Michigan, they've got 2 weekends to get it done. There's 4 days, 4 or 5 days.
A lot of
you
them,
got Thanksgiving in there, maybe 6.
And depending on where the 15th falls, like if it falls on a Friday and Saturday, I think our numbers tend to go up for that weekend.
Yeah,
because a lot of people just roll it into a longer weekend,
right?
And deal with it. But you're right; they only get that weekend or the next weekend.
But when you're archery hunting, we start here on October 1st. You've got 4 weekends in October. You got the first 2 weekends in November, and then you've got, if you really want to get into it, you've got December as well. But there's more time.
Oh yeah,
so
you hear people when they talk archery, you hear people saying, "Hey, I'm not going to go into that spot until at least November 1st because they got other spots."
That's what I'm talking about. They're more engaged. They're more more heavily invested in their time.
Right, exactly.
And the resources they've got to put into archery hunting. So I think they tend to pass on those younger bucks and take. That's what they're after. They're after the buck. They're after that big buck.
Yep.
I could be totally wrong, but
no, but
that's just my thinking.
Kind of like when I could shoot does in my area, I would definitely, if I had to, I would shoot a doe towards the end of my October trip,
right,
and bring something home, and then. But yeah, you definitely have more time, and you can time it out as to you can look at the moon phase. You can like we had the supermoon during gun season. Was it 2 years ago now?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
The supermoon was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Okay. If you looked at the calendar, you said, "Well, I don't want to hunt. I could hunt before that." Whereas gun season was the 15th, and
right
there you go. There's your choice.
Right.
So,
Ron Moses talks about the quality over there went up just as Dr. Kroll was addressing our DNR. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at, I guess. I'd like to know more about the dynamics of the numbers that Pat's talking about with these archery kills. What's those age classes of bucks that are being taken?
That would be a good one to know.
But I will say, Dr. Kroll also talks vastly about the fact of taking doe to keep your deer herd numbers down to control disease, but also to get the right herd dynamics going. Buck to doe ratios, age class, and age structure.
Yeah, that's one of the things he talks heavily in Wayne Sitton when they put out that video of the does and using the opportunity to be able to take does to start to balance your herd and shooting the right does.
Right.
So, like Ron Moses says here, normally he gets 1 weekend for rifle because of work.
Right.
There you go. That's a perfect example. Pick which weekend he uses, and that's the weekend he's going.
Right.
So,
and kind of back up on what this whole article is talking about. Think about the fact, okay, they lifted the Ernebuck tag, which they had to shoot a doe. If memory serves me, didn't they come up with pretty much the same plan that the Michigans want to implement here? Come in and take a vast number of deer out of this area of CWD.
I think so.
So maybe, these archery guys over there, once they lifted that Ernebuck tag, they didn't have to shoot the does. They're worried about, really putting the hammer down on their deer herd. I don't know what their deer herd numbers are over there. Are they still way overboard, or do they still need to be thinned out, or have they gotten in check and they're really worried about, taking too many doe now? I don't know. Then maybe that's the reason why. Maybe that's the reason why they flipped, in those last 4 years, and they started killing more bucks than does.
Well, it could be another thing we talked about as well is they want you to come in and shoot all these does, but some people will say that's way too many and they just won't shoot.
Right. So, hey, I tell you what, we're 20 minutes into this. We need to take a break. So let's step outside real quick, and we're going to take our first break. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Second segment, Up North Journal. Danny's reading right now. Or are you just looking at pictures?
No, I'm trying to get a number here.
In the break, I had him grab a hold of the QDMA our annual deer report for the United States, and it breaks it down state by state.
Of course, they don't put it in here.
They don't have the numbers in there for
No.
H class?
For sample cost for CWD.
Oh.
I was just looking for a number.
Some reason $75 sticks in my head.
Right?
For that. I don't know. But
so anyways, also in this article, and switch hands with me, you take that. Also in this article was doggone it. Also in this article was the new CWD rules for
right there
for transporting from the CWD zones.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting numbers here.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So, this is what we call the new age of... Now, this is buck harvest percentage by age class. This is strictly across the board, across the whole board, not just specifically archery. In 2014, year-and-a-half-old bucks, percentage taken, 48%, so roughly half. 2015 in Wisconsin, year-and-a-half-old bucks taken, 55%, went up 7%. 2016, year-and-a-half-old bucks taken by age class, 65%.
Oh, it's going up.
It's increased almost 10% a year. Well, from 2015 to 16, it increased 10%. It increased 7% from 14 to 15. So they lift
the Ernebuck.
And within 3 years,
their year-and-a-half-old deer shooting is going up.
Yep. So
almost 1 year double digits, 1 year 7%.
Yeah.
Right?
And conversely, the 2.5-year-old in 14 is 31%. In 2015, it was 28. In 2016, it was 18. So it dropped 3% from 14 to 15. Then it dropped 10% from 15 to 16. 3.5 years and older, 21% in 14, 17% in 15, and 16% in 16.
And their antlerless deer
numbers, according to that article, they are dropping.
Right.
So I don't know.
You know, that's interesting that they were trying to earn a buck rule and how that got kiboshed.
Okay. Percentage of antlerless harvest by age class. Wisconsin, 2014, 45% were fawns. 36% in 15 and 21% in 16. So that's good. They're letting their fawns, they've really educated themselves and gotten on board with that. Okay, antlerless harvest, year-and-a-half-old antlerless. 19%, 21%, 21%. Okay, so the numbers are relatively low there. 2.5 years old, 24%, 20, and 24%, pretty stable. 3.5 years and older, 27, 29, 31. So the age classes, except for the fawns, are staying stable. And the fawn, the fawn kills are getting, dropping.
So the year-and-a-half bucks in Wisconsin
are going up.
What's Michigan doing? Because Michigan hasn't done anything.
They haven't done anything. I don't know.
Back to the book.
Back to the book. Here we go.
But exactly. And, while you're looking that up, they're also going to have new...
year-and-a-half-old bucks. We're talking 14, 15, 16, 43, 44, and 47. We're actually increasing slightly. 2.5-year-old bucks in Michigan. 32, 29, 26. Those are dropping. 3.5 years and older. 25, 27, 27. Pretty stable. So,
but not an increase like we see in Wisconsin.
No.
Ours is just a couple of percentage points.
Yes. Now take that into the doe. I mean, I know our doe harvest is definitely lower than our buck harvest, but going by percentage points, fawns 28, 25, 26, pretty stable. Year-and-a-half-old antlerless 18, 19, and 18. 2.5-year-old 19, 18, and 17, and then 3.5. Wow. 3.5 years and older antlerless harvest, 35% in 14, 38% and 38% in 15 and 16.
Oh, so
which is good. We want to target our older deer,
older does,
our older does. Yes,
that's kind of a good sign.
Yeah, but we still need to do more of it.
Well, overall, we need to do more of it, and that's one of the things with education. I know QDMA has tried to. We're more of an educational thing on what to shoot, when to shoot it, right?
Ronald Moses says, "Now look at Michigan."
We did.
He was right along with us there.
Yep. And so it's one of those things. Interesting that they took away Earn a Buck.
Well, okay. So let's. How much time we got here? I want to make sure we don't run over again. Okay, let's look at Earn a Buck. We kind of know what happened there. We see some of the dynamics of what happened after they lifted it.
Right.
APRs. We talked a lot about APRs. I talked to Lincoln Roan yesterday at the Woods and Water event over in Imlay City.
Right.
I talked to him for a little while, and then I actually stopped by a booth for a QDMA co-op up in the Thumb area.
The Thumb area, guys?
Yeah, the 5 counties up in the Thumb, and they're trying to get APRs implemented there.
They're doing the survey.
So they're going to do the survey this year and see how that goes, but they're really pushing on that. Everything behind that what it's showing and what we've seen and where it's being used is that when you use APRs and you hang that carrot out in front of the hunters, you say, okay, we'll give you this, but you got to harvest the does. And we've seen those numbers in the Northwest 12 of Michigan. Doe kill increases went up. Okay,
Yep.
The doe numbers went up. So I think we need to give this a legitimate shot in looking at this and using this as the thing, or the tactic, or the carrot, or the incentive for hunters to shoot more doe or does. There's somebody been giving me some grief on doe and does.
Doe and does.
Yeah, I was talking with Matt Goodlife over in England.
Gotcha. But anyways, they, again, like you said, put the carrot out there, shoot some more does. Look, it would be nice. Like, I got some coworkers that are putting in their Iowa tags because they're all geeked up to go to Iowa. Hopefully they get drawn, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Because there's a reason. Mm-hmm. Like he even says, yeah, I'll probably shoot something in Michigan. Won't be as big as Iowa.
Your brother just asked, how long are deer lifespans? Here in Michigan, not very long. At least a buck. A doe is a long time.
Well, you on your does you aged, you had one that what was the oldest one?
We had one that was actually almost, I think it was 11 or 12 years old. Yeah,
the
oldest one we've taken
in
the last 3 years. Last year we took one that was 9. I know we had a doe that was collared on our property. It was part of a research project with Michigan State University. That doe stayed on our property I seen her for 14 years.
Okay.
We give her a pass. She was hands off.
Right. Well, exactly. That's, like socks, right?
Yep.
Everybody sees socks.
Speaking of, we've got another deer on the property it's probably 90%.
Like socks?
What I've heard is about 90, yeah, piebald.
Okay. So
and it's not her fawn.
Given the right area, right weather, right, not getting sick or nothing like that, you've had an almost 12-year-old.
I've heard of in captivity, some deer have made it to 20, 22, 23 years.
Why wouldn't they?
But out in the wild, a buck will start to regress. Antler size will start to regress at about 6-7 years.
Yep.
They'll start losing mass, and they're just downhill from there.
Exactly. And that's the thing that because up in the UP they got to fight with Mother Nature,
right?
And you know how Mother Nature goes,
right?
So that just is another piece of the puzzle when it comes to how old can they live,
right?
Predation and all that good stuff, but they can live a long time considering.
So, where were we going with this discussion?
So another thing that they're going to deal with, and by the way, you can always go look at Patrick Durkin over at where's he at? Let me give him a shout because we're using his story. Article. This was over in the Madison.com, Patrick Durkin. Okay. They're also going to check out, they're going to have new CWD rules for transporting the deer.
In Wisconsin? Are we talking Wisconsin?
Yes.
Okay. Pretty much like Michigan?
CWD archers will be the first to test the new state regulations on moving a deer carcass. The law specifies that a hunter can haul the whole deer or any parts of the deer anywhere in Wisconsin as long as their trip ends at a licensed taxidermist or meat processor within 72 hours.
So if you shoot a deer in a CWD zone, hot zone, you can take it anywhere in the state?
Yep. In Wisconsin.
Really?
You can go anywhere as long as you go within 72 hours of getting your deer to a taxidermist or a food processor.
Interesting. Okay. That's different.
Okay. Now let me... the rest... Okay, so that is the law. Now, if you are CWD affected, the rest of us, though, can no longer just haul our deer to wherever we traditionally cut it up and package it. If the county we shot the deer in is CWD affected, we can't haul it any further than the county line.
Okay, so if you're in a CWD hot zone, you can't take it outside the county.
Unless we've boned it out and left behind its brain, spinal cord, and lymph nodes. Preferably we'll deposit those parts in a dumpster for disposal in a clay-lined landfill.
That's the subject for another day.
Yeah, that's a whole nother...
I had a very... did we talk about this on the show?
I don't think we went into in depth.
I had a discussion with this with a DNR wildlife biologist.
Did you?
Yes, very extensive, and I'm not going to throw any names out, but yeah, there's no really formal plan devised as to how to dispose of carcasses, bones and brain matter and spinal columns and things of that nature. The proper way to do it, they recommend. I was told, take your deer, bone it out, put it in a dumpster. Or your garbage can, and have it taken to a landfill. Okay, well, I've heard from people who have done that, and they won't pick up their garbage because there's a deer carcass in the garbage can because they don't want it in the landfill because of CWD. And it's like, well, wait a minute, that's what the DNR recommends.
Hold on,
but there's no formal
plan
in place to tell people what to do with the remains. Think about November 15th and beyond when the ground's froze. They said the other way is to dig a 6-foot pit and put them in and bury them. Okay, so how are you going to do that when the ground's froze?
Right, exactly. Well, isn't a landfill a place where we're supposed to take our... I won't go into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus, they're also going to provide 100 self-serve kiosks where Wisconsin hunters can drop off their deer heads for CWD testing. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have kiosks. You're going to be able to go to and drop off your deer heads to get it sampled.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
I'll tell you what, we're bumping up here on our next break, so let's take another break, step outside, and we will continue the conversation here when we get back. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back, third segment of the show. All right.
Okay, so we've talked about CWD in Wisconsin. We've talked about it a little bit in Michigan because we've talked about it before. But did you fill out the survey?
What survey are we talking about, Danny?
The DNR survey.
On CWD and what we thought about it? Yes, I did.
I did too.
You printed out your answers?
I did.
All right. So are we going to go through this and talk about it?
Well, because some of these questions are kind of...
puzzling?
Yeah.
All right.
Some are easy.
So basically what this is, for everybody that doesn't know, the state of Michigan sent out surveys, and I don't know if they send them out to everybody that signed up for their news releases. I don't know how they picked who got these surveys.
Yeah, I don't know if it came off the list
license
when you got
list,
your license or how it did.
But I got one. I filled it out. Danny got one. He's filled it out and actually printed out his answers, which I didn't go that far. But
I did.
I wish I would have now, but go ahead.
17 questions that could change your life right here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's going to change my life. You know what? I got something here that'll change your life.
Right? Won't be able to talk.
Yeah, we'll do some extraction here. I can't wait till I get to use that thing for the first time.
I can't wait till you see the video of you using that for the first time.
All right.
Okay, so first question.
All right.
You get this survey, your first question. As a recreational activity, how important is deer hunting to you compared to other recreational activities?
We're sitting here tonight, aren't we? We're talking about it. You got a pretty good idea.
Okay, so it ranges from my most important recreation activity to one of my most not more important, less than important, not important at all as a recreational activity. So, kind of puzzling to me as to why you'd say that's not all important as a recreational activity and still be in the survey.
We can go by that question because we already know my answer.
Yeah, right? Okay.
And I assume yours is the same.
Yeah. Did you hunt deer? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
County, iron, private land. How many deer did I take? 2.
Me here too.
Okay, so number 6. Report how many deer you harvested were processed, butchered by each method listed below.
Okay.
One was I gave the deer away before it was processed.
I did one of those.
I took the entire deer somewhere and paid money to have it processed.
That was the other one.
Okay.
Because it was froze solid.
Right. I processed some of the deer myself.
Nope.
Paid money to have the task done. Example, making burger or sausage.
Nope.
Or I processed the entire deer myself.
Nope.
Or there's another category. For me, I took both deers to the processor, paid to have it done.
Okay.
You gave one away.
I gave one away, and the other one I did myself. I'm sorry. I normally do them myself, but
a little rock solid.
That hunt, the temperatures were right around 0, and we shot the deer, field dressed them, hung them up. The next morning, they were froze solid.
Yep.
So when I brought them home,
they were still froze solid.
They were froze solid, so I just took it right to the butcher shop.
Okay, so the next question. So the first this question, they're kind of asking how it was processed. Did you do it by yourself? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so then the next question is report whether the deer was processed, butchered inside or outside the county where it was killed.
Outside.
So you would have done 2 of the outside. Same thing with me.
Yep.
Now, if you notice these questions and kind of, which we just read this article about Wisconsin and their new rules,
right?
You see where it sounds like where we're going after.
Yeah, it had here. Okay, let's back up to the 2 deer that I took. If we were in a CWD hot zone this year, let's flip this into 1 year. 1 year ahead now,
okay.
This coming season, and the same scenario happens, and let's just say that the zone I was in was a CWD hot zone. I couldn't give that deer away and let somebody else take it home out of the county.
Yep, correct.
Without deboning it. I couldn't take and bring my deer home to our local processor down the road in the next county down from us here at our house and have it processed.
Correct, because you will now be in a hot zone and you can't take it past, basically you can't take it past the county line.
So let's step into muzzleloader season here in Michigan when it's typically it could be 60 degrees or it could be 10 below. Usually it's probably somewhere around between 30 and 15 degrees. But if you're up north at a camp, let's say in northwestern Michigan on that border that's in the CWD core,
mm-hmm.
and it's cold, and let's say you live in southern Michigan, you can't bring that deer home.
Well,
you got to take it to a processor right there in the county.
Okay, so look at me. Let's say my county becomes a CWD hot county.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to butcher it all there and not bring anything home.
Okay, let's take this one more step. Let's take it one more step. Okay, you're like so many of our listeners that have expressed interest in this and said that they get weekends to hunt.
Okay, you're going where I was going.
So, you're going to hunt Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, maybe Sunday evening, depending on how far your travel is.
Well, we could do it at your place. We could hunt Sunday evening.
Sunday evening, the hunt's over. You shoot a deer, you field dress it, you throw it in the back of the truck, and you come home.
Because you got to go to work the next day.
Not anymore.
Nope.
Not anymore. You can't hunt that evening, theoretically.
Well, if my county, because it takes me 8 hours, basically a day to get home,
mm-hmm.
basically I'm going to have to make sure that
Saturday afternoon is the end of your hunt.
Is the end of my hunt, because I got to make sure if this was the case, which it isn't right now.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a hot zone, I would have to make sure. Okay, guys, we're going to have a day of butchering. If
right,
we got to do it. We'd be skinning and butchering, right?
So yeah, let's take this and this thing continues to spread its fingers throughout the state, and these laws and rules and regs change. okay, most of your guys are weekend hunters. What do you think what do you think that might do to the hunting in northern Michigan or the UP where people travel and they've got a weekend to hunt and get back home?
It's either gonna it could either go one of two ways.
I think people are gonna quit hunting.
Well, there's either that or they're just gonna shoot and shut up.
That could be too. But when you tag that deer and you're coming out of the UP, let's say the whole UP is that way. Let's just paint it with one big broad brush. And you come below the bridge and you've got a deer in the back of that vehicle. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, you're probably going to get pulled over in a ticket.
Yeah, right.
There will be no more bridge count. It'll be bridge tickets. How many bridge tickets were issued for?
Yeah, confiscation, the whole 9 yards.
Right, and then what they do is they wrap them up in a body bag and
take them away.
Away they go. That could be the ultimate if this whole state becomes that.
You know, and we're not trying to paint this with a big broad brush, saying that this is the end all. I'm just saying these are things that people really need to start thinking about. With, I mean, they're asking these questions for a reason. Go back to the questions now.
Right. Okay. Outside. Okay. The method used to dispose of unused parts of harvested deer is not regulated currently. Report the number of carcasses disposed by each listed method below. Did you bury the carcass, incinerate the carcass, place the carcass in a compost pile, put the carcass in the trash at a landfill, taken to landfill? You let the processor take care of dispose of the carcass, and I fed the carcass to other animals. Mine obviously went to the processor, and he disposed of them.
Same with mine. The other one went to with the person I give it to.
Right.
Okay. What you looking at?
Just looking at comments coming in.
Okay.
There's one more in that category. I left the carcass on the bare ground in a field or woods.
Okay.
Do you usually pay a meat processor to butcher your deer? Yes. Do you usually do the processor?
No. I usually pay.
You do yours by yourself or by
normally,
yourself.
Normally.
Do the processor that you normally use stop accepting deer in 2017 because of CWD? I don't know if he did or not.
Mm-hmm.
If CWD caused all meat processors to stop processing deer, how would this change your future deer hunting activity?
We just discussed that.
One of three. Still hunt, would stop hunting, not sure. Okay, so that's kind of funny because we just talked about that. And
I'd still hunt, but I'd definitely have to change the way I hunt, the amount of time that I hunt.
Right. So basically, it looks like they're digging in for
seeing what the public acceptance is.
An impact. Because these meat processors, if they're going to stop processing deer,
that's the other thing.
That could be a huge loss.
That's the other thing, because you get that into a facility and they're grinding meat. All of a sudden, you've got that. Something I heard through a biologist was talking about the lymph nodes are, is what they test for CWD, right, and TB. They use those lymph nodes to test with. There's lymph nodes throughout the whole body. They're down the back in the back straps, which I did not know.
Okay.
So think about, so we're looking at spinal column, we're looking at brain matter. That's where most of it's at.
Yep.
But let's say this thing's got it, and you're grinding meat, and it's contaminated.
Well,
it's now ground in with other meat as well. That grinder, you think they're going to take that grinder apart and clean it after every single deer?
Tony Bernheisel said his quit taking in 2017.
His what?
His. I'm assuming his processor quit in 2017.
Quit taking deer. Okay.
So yeah, absolutely. Oh,
it's an issue.
This is a business impact.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens here in Michigan with the deer processing in the 5 core county hot zone in central lower Michigan.
Oh yeah.
If they're going to continue to take deer there and how they're going to take deer in.
So then they ask a couple questions here. Did you use a urine-based sense to attract mask odors, hunt deer in Michigan? Did you use bait?
Nope, can't.
So you can't. I did. Did I use urine-based? I don't think I used any scents last year, now that I think about it. Not urine-based. Okay. Haha. All right. Getting to the good stuff now. Please rate your level of acceptance for each of the following management actions implemented in your county you hunt most often. Take no action to manage CWD. You were given 4 possible answers you could give. Completely acceptable, acceptable, somewhat acceptable, completely unacceptable, somewhat unacceptable. I think we're the 4.
Yeah, I can't remember if I was completely unacceptable or somewhat, because I do not agree with the whole management plan of what they're doing right now. That's just me.
Well,
I can't remember which one.
See, in my county, take no action to manage CWD. I said completely acceptable because I'm basing on what they're doing down here and what we're finding out and learning. Mm-hmm. I don't touch it, please, right now until we know more.
Right.
Kind of where I'm going. Using regulated hunting seasons with liberal bag limits to increase deer harvest. Completely unacceptable.
Yeah, it's what I put as well.
Issue permits to landowners and hunters to shoot deer outside of hunting season. Completely unacceptable.
See, it's different in our zone because where we're at, we're dealing with TB, and right now, actually, we're going to contemplate using disease control permits this year at our place.
Which out
of season.
That's out of season.
Yeah, just to get our numbers in check.
Right.
We're going to use that as a means to start dropping our doe herd count.
Use trained shooters to kill in localized areas, supplement harvest taken by hunters.
No.
Trained shooters would only be used after hunting season have ended with the permission of landowners.
No.
Completely unacceptable. Same.
No, let the landowners manage their land.
Eliminate baiting and feeding of deer for hunting purposes. I said completely unacceptable because I have a feeling there's more to the story than that.
What was that last question?
Eliminate baiting and feeding of deer for hunting purposes.
We haven't hunted with bait.
Yeah, you guys haven't hunted
at our place since I think 2000. So it's a non-issue at our place.
So eliminate all baiting and feeding of deer year round, but yet you put out birdseed. Is that baiting?
It depends.
Gray area.
What's your purpose for putting the birdseed out?
Well, because I want to feed the birds.
Yeah. Well.
Right. Require all unused parts of harvested deer, excluding guts, to be buried or disposed of in a landfill. I was like, neither.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we really don't know.
Prohibit the transportation of outside of known infected CWD infected areas.
You know, I'm kind of for that. I just
right now I don't know if we know the whole story to say that's a good or a bad practice.
I'm kind of on the fence. I understand the reasoning behind it, and I know why they're doing it. And I do think we need to eliminate some travel with infected deer carcasses. I think there's a good reason for that.
Suspend mandatory antler point restrictions.
No.
Right. Ban the use of attractics made from natural deer urine.
No. I had read somewhere that it was like 30,000 gallons of deer urine to come up with the same prion count as what's in a deer's brain that has CWD.
30,000 gallons?
I think it was nice. I think it was 30,000 gallons. Don't quote me on that, but it was some astronomical number. So once again, I think they're really just reaching to the far extremes to really try to stop this, and that's the way they're doing it.
I think yeah. To what extent do you agree or disagree with each of the following statements regarding your confidence in the Michigan Department of Natural Resources? I am confident the MDNR will provide the best available information on CWD in Michigan.
Nope.
Provide me with enough information to decide what actions I should take regarding CWD.
Nope. Provide
accurate information about human safety issues related to CWD.
Yeah.
I don't know if we know enough to actually...
Yeah. I don't think there's enough known about it yet.
Provide timely information regarding CWD.
No.
Provide adequate opportunities for hunters to express their concerns about CWD.
You want to talk about timely. I'm not going to give the instance of this, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. What happened this
agree
week.
with that because they do have a meeting every month.
Yeah.
Could that meeting be better? Absolutely.
Yeah. The timely meeting and letting people know about it.
Right. And
anybody listening that knows what I'm talking about?
Yep.
That happened this week?
Make good deer management decisions regarding CWD issues. I strongly disagree.
Disagree.
Properly address CWD in Michigan.
I don't think they have.
Right. So that's why I strongly disagree.
Yeah.
Okay.
What question we on?
We got 2 more questions to go.
Okay, because we're running a little long in the tooth, but go ahead.
The following are potential outcomes for CWD management. How acceptable or unacceptable would you be following outcomes of CWD management in the areas where you hunt deer most frequently? The reduced population of deer. Well, according to the DNR, I'm down in deer, so I can't really say take any more deer.
Right.
Seeing fewer deer.
I don't have a problem seeing fewer deer.
Decreased hunter harvest of deer.
I don't have a problem with that if it needs to be that way.
Fewer male deer.
I don't have a problem if see, you don't know. They're just saying male deer.
Hold on. Yeah, that one. And then there's fewer male deer with large antlers.
They're not telling the whole story.
Well, that's why.
It's a very generic question, and it doesn't take into account how that correlates with the
what
doe.
What are they looking for?
They're looking to see what they can fly by the hunters is what they're looking to see what they can fly.
They're poking the bear is what they're doing. If we do this, are you going to be mad?
Yeah.
If we do that, are you going to be mad?
Yeah.
And this question, I don't understand. Did you hunt deer, elk, or moose outside of Michigan during the 2017 season?
I think what they're looking for is to see how many people are leaving Michigan. I think that's what they're looking for.
Ah, good one.
How many hunters are actually leaving the state? I think that's what that is.
Okay. You know what? That's funny you mentioned that because now you put it in that aspect. They can okay.
They've got all the questions. They got all the answers that they wanted to gauge hunter participation and hunter acceptance of what they want to fly past.
So they could take this and we can do this with any survey that we get.
Yep.
And we can spin it to we have done X, Y, Z, and look, nobody's left the state.
Yeah, yeah.
Or we do A, B, C. Oh man,
they're leaving the state.
Everybody's leaving the state.
Yeah.
So,
but here I will say this though: when you talk about leaving the state, you've got to have the means to be able to do that, and the means is usually the money to be able to hunt out of state. Out of state hunts are not cheap.
Not usually. Not
generally.
Well, depending on where you go.
Yeah. Depending on what you're looking for.
And what you're looking for, they can go into the thousands of dollars. And depending on if you're the type that goes lease land and
let's just say you want to go to Kansas and you want to hunt whitetail, or Missouri and you want to hunt state land and it's a DYI, you still got to pay for your tag, you got to pay for your gas down there, you got to pay for your food.
Yeah.
You know, those things, and generally speaking, you got to pay for most of that here in this state as well. But the tag is going to cost you more. Gas is going to cost you more because you're driving out of state. But you've also got to have the means to be able to stay out in the outdoors, whether that be a camper, tent, all that gear that goes with it.
Or let's say you do the hotel thing, right?
Yeah, you do the hotel. There's more money.
So if you're doing a DYI, or DYI, you're just not going to run out there on a whim and say, hey, I'm hunting.
Yeah, go scout.
You're going to go scout. So you're going to take a long weekend maybe.
It's going to be 2 trips at least.
Yeah. So
I tell you what, hold that thought.
We will.
We're getting long in the tooth on this. We're going to step outside, take our last break. We'll wrap it up when we come back. We'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show. We have covered
a lot
tonight. I've tried to yank Danny's tooth out, the jawbone extractor.
Yeah. Good luck.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Making it to 50. Interesting.
Yeah.
You never think about that when you're 18, 21.
No. When my dad turned 50, I thought he was old.
Right.
Now that I'm here, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Right. Exactly.
That's cool, I guess.
It is. And it's one of those things that you just, hey.
It's perspective.
It is. Absolutely.
So.
And our perspective of our upcoming deer hunts can be all over the board.
They can be, and I'm looking at everything with the glass half full. We're facing some things here in Michigan. I'm still going to hunt. I'm still going to bow hunt. I'm still going to rifle hunt. I'm still going to muzzleloader hunt. I've already got my time off planned.
Well, I know you're still going to bow hunt because you went live to show everybody that you were out in the field.
Yeah.
In a pocket.
Yeah. I don't know how that happened.
But you're right, and that's the thing. And I'm very skeptical of behind the scenes or between the lines or whatever you want to call it. I'm very leery as to some of the decisions that are made.
Well, all of the wildlife management workshops I've been to, QDMA workshops, habitat workshops this year, when all these rules and regs were being put out and people were debating and talking and arguing about them, and then it finally came down, the one thing that the commonality of it all is ultimately you're still in the position of being able to manage deer the way you see fit because you're the one that's going to pull the trigger. You know, you make that decision. Are you going to kill a doe this year or are you not?
Well,
are you going to pass on a young buck and let him go, let him grow, or not? Ultimately, you have control on a micro level, and if you're hunting with like-minded people, moving forward, and you get more like-minded people around you, you can still control how that herd's managed on your local level.
And truthfully, we've been hunting under the APRs up in the UP for quite a while,
right?
Because I always buy a double tag, and I'm APR,
right?
But the problem is I can't shoot a doe,
right?
So,
okay,
I'm kind of bummed about that because I'd really like to shoot a doe to take home some meat.
That's why you come to my camp.
Well, that's true. But so living under those, if they were to institute APRs, I'd be like, okay. And for me, it'd be the bonus if they enacted doe tags.
Right.
I'd be like, I'm in.
Giggity.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Game on.
To practice APRs, I've kind of been doing it. This year we got 3, if you want to call them APR shooter bucks on camera right off the bat.
Right.
That's pretty good.
Right.
So we're still seeing a lot of young ones. I don't know what the mortality rate is to Mother Nature.
That's what's got me worried at our camp. We haven't had a chance to really talk about this whole lot. And I've got the trail cam photos that I haven't really shown yet. We showed some of yours last week.
Yep.
At our camp, one of our guys lives up there, and our former camp manager, and he's very in tune with the land. Very in tune. Right now, we're just covered up in coyotes. It's bad. And we're not seeing fawns. I mean, we've seen a few fawns. I've seen, I think, 2 different fawns on trail cameras, on my cameras, and I'm running 5, 6 cameras. I put a few more out, but we're not seeing any fawns. He's seen a lot of fawn carcasses from predation.
Really?
So, okay, this is the thing that kind of worries me, because we're trying to implement deer management at our place and let those 1.5-year-old bucks pass into 2. You know, and actually I'm passing on 2.5s and looking at 3.5 and 4.5-year-old bucks. If you think about this on your place, guys and gals, if you're shooting 1.5-year-old bucks and you're starting to shoot that age class out, okay, and it's been that way for a while with your neighbors and everything, and you're shooting that age class out, and that's what you've got replenished from last year's spawns, 1.5-year-old bucks. Okay, let's say predation just goes crazy, like what we're seeing at our place, and you lose an age class. Your place, you saw this a couple years ago. You lose an entire age class of bucks and fawns. So you don't have that the following year. It takes another 2 years to catch back up to where you were at.
My 3.5-year-old age class is gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the DNR is very. I still got the head. I forgot to take it up there when I wanted to, but that they'd be excited to see one 3.5 at this point.
Right.
2.5. Yep. 4.5. Yep. 3.5.
So they're reestablishing.
Yep.
But when that happens, you lose that whole year, and it takes 2 years to catch back up.
Right, exactly.
The next year's fawns have to get there and then be passed into that age class the following year.
You know, that's interesting because now, are you getting a lot of well, you're getting bear on camera.
Yep.
And you're getting coyotes on camera.
Yep. Few bobcat. And they're getting to your fawns. Used to, we would see fawns on a regular basis, see them on camera, see them out in the fields walking, and it's not happening. It's not happening this year. It's getting tough. And actually, the guy I'm talking about, he saw a young fawn, a young one. It's probably a third rut fawn that was real little. So, you know, once again, we're talking about dropping them fawns across 3 months time period.
Well, they haven't had to
smorgasbord.
Well, that's it. And the thing is, though, I'm seeing the fawns, which is good, but I'm kind of wondering, because I've got the coyotes, I've got the bears, I've got the wolves, I've got the bobcat, I've got the cougar somewhere around there. But anyways, what is, do I have a lot of food for them to take? And the ones I'm seeing have made it, and there's a lot of others, or what's going on?
Right.
Now, I did not hear any coyotes or wolves the couple nights that I was up there just last weekend.
Okay.
I thought I did the one night. It woke me up. I got out of bed and it got quiet. I could have swore it was because it sounded really close, but I couldn't confirm nor deny. But, you get those little pesky guys to come running into your yard. And
that's not a little pesky guy we're looking at right there on camera right now.
I got to get that other photo for you of the two of them that got in the one shot, and it almost looks like they're hunting. It almost looks like they're traveling together.
Traveling in pairs, yeah.
Yep, and it looks like they're in a place where they could be making a stalk, I guess.
Okay.
And I'm surprised that camera did so well. It was awesome. I just plopped it in the middle of a field.
It's cool to see something like that, but then all of a sudden you go, whoa, wait, no, it's not cool.
Right?
It's cool, but not,
Right,
so.
exactly. So,
Is that the first time you ever got a wolf on camera?
yes.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we're getting close here to the end of the show. We got a couple minutes left. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out. Remember, huntersblendcoffee.com. Go over, get you your order in. If you use the UNJ promo code,
You get 10% off.
10% off your order. So make sure you use that capital U, capital N, capital J. And they're coming out with a dark roast.
Yes, they are.
So-
I don't know if they've named it yet. I don't know.
Don't know.
I know they were looking for a name.
They were, yep.
And what's kind of cool now is you can get it in 5-pound bags.
2 pound and 5 pound?
Yeah.
That's a 12-ounce bag.
8 ounce.
Go to the website real quick.
Regular and decaf is 8 and 12.
You can get
And 1 and 5.
You can get regular camp cup,
Oh,
coffee
you can
cups.
get
You
it
can get
8,
these
12.
style cups and tumblers.
Regular and decaf, 8, 12 pound, 5 pound, ground or whole bean.
There you go. So if you like to grind your own,
I just had to read it.
there you go.
So yeah, Hunter's Blend, folks. Got to give some try.
It's good stuff. For those of you here locally, Spot Shooter Archery does have it in their in the shop now. So go over there and check it out. Get you some over there. I don't know if he's actually started making it in the store as of yet.
Yeah, you know what? He's been so busy over there. I know he was busy this weekend. Woods and Water.
Yep. Yeah. Big shout out to Jim too. I think his daughter got married this weekend as well. So he's had a very busy weekend.
Yes, he has. And it was always good to see Ron Moses. What camera was that? That was a Cabela's 14 megapixel. That was a Cabela's infrared, I think. There you go.
Cabela's. What does that stand for right there? Because that picture was actually I cropped it. So there's the label on the bottom. I can't tell.
Cabela's. I don't know if that was the infrared or the white flash, but it doesn't matter because it was
during the middle of the day. Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, that was a good pick. But yeah, it was good to see Lincoln Roan.
Absolutely. And I want to give a big shout out to Dan Yassa.
Holy cow, we didn't even get to that.
No, we got to get him on the show. Guys and gals, for those of you who might not know, if you've been following our Facebook page, Dan Yassa shot in the 2018 World Archery Field Championship over in Cortina, Italy. And he was in a group of 46 shooters. He represented Team USA. And he qualified during the qualifying round, 2 rounds, he qualified 5th. And he won his first match after that and went in and shot in the quarterfinals of the World Championships for the field archery. And it came down to him and one of the best shooters in the world. And they tied at the end, and they went to a 1-arrow shoot-off, and he lost by 1 point. He lost for a 6 to a 5. And
I wonder how close that was.
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to see how close he was to it.
And I wish it would have been televised. I really did. But
me too.
I know there was some things with it might have been televised over there,
right?
But it wasn't televised here because of the contractual issues with.
And the guy that he eventually lost to won it all.
He's the number 1 in the world.
This guy has won this event. What I think this is his 3rd time in a row now.
Well, no.
No, I take that back. It was the American who won it the last 2 years.
And
Steve Anderson.
The gentleman that won it was his first. He was one of the second people to complete the world title triple.
Okay,
so he won in 2 other events,
world events,
and now this.
Yeah, it's simply incredible. I mean, for Dan Yass to be on a world stage shooting for Team USA and taking it that far, hats off, man. I tell you what, that's simply incredible. But we got to get him on the show. I want to talk to him and get his take on how that all played out. So big shout out to him. You got anything else, though, before we wrap it up?
He's only the second man in history to win field indoor and outdoor world titles.
That's pretty doggone good.
Shoot.
And Dan lost him by 1 point in a shoot-off.
It was a shoot-off.
Shoot-off.
It just wasn't
Tied him.
Yeah, it was one. So, no, I got nothing for you. Tune in next weekend.
We might be on Saturday.
Yeah, we might be on Saturday.
It'll be Saturday morning. We'll give you a quick shout and let you know. I've got work obligations on Sunday. We've got a local golf tournament here in the area, and I think I'm going to probably have to work with coverage for that. So
you're covering it.
Yeah,
okay.
I've got to do a special that evening. So
all right, so you know what? If we're on Saturday morning, get your coffee,
get your Hunter's Blend. Yeah, that's right.
Breakfast with Mike and Dan.
Yeah, I like that.
There you go.
So we'll see what we can come up with by next week. But everybody take care this week. We're going to wrap it up here for the podcast. That'll do it for us this week, folks. And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Winsent Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Twisted Minds Bowstrings,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Antler Action,
and Family Traditions Tree Stands.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.